can change things based on how you experience them internally. Sometimes it does take a while for things to catch up. Earth energy is the slowest moving element that we work with in the 3D, right? Because we have earth, we have air, we have water, we have fire. Earth is the slowest moving, it's the most solid, it's the most dense. And so, especially like when it comes to material assets, material gain, and things of that nature, sometimes it takes a little bit longer for those things to catch up to our reality, our belief systems, than any other element. And that also goes for your body. When I went through a spiritual awakening, right, it was like, okay, I become aware of some information. I become aware of an epiphany or a belief or whatever. I become aware of something that is happening in the mind. Mind is mental. Air is the fastest moving element, okay? Because there's no structure to air. It's just moving, right? It's free, okay? It's free flowing. But air is free flowing, okay? Thoughts come and go so you can become aware of certain things like in your mind. You experience a thought and you're like, oh my God, wow, that's life-changing thought. Let's say you're in a class, okay? You're in a class I'll use me as an example. So I'm in a dietary class. I know I mentioned that in the last episode. I'm in a dietary class. And part of this dietary class is giving you information, giving you knowledge in order to teach you how to be a better steward of your body, your food, and all of that great stuff, right? So when I learn things like, oh, the reason why you have to eat on a consistent schedule, you want to eat at the same time every day, is because your body will establish it or adjust its own circadian rhythm based on how often you fuel it. Your metabolic rate is determined by your circadian rhythm, because if your body is in a state of flux and unpredictability, it's going to just start storing things. It's just going to start storing food and calories because it doesn't know when its next meal is going to come. It's literally hoarding the resources that you're giving it. Now in your mind you might be like, well, yeah, I'm going to eat at such and such a time. I'll eat after I get done with this. I'll eat after that, or whatever. Your body, even though your mind is telling you, oh yeah, I'm going to eat at 5:00, your body is like, well, I don't know when I'm going to eat, because you haven't established a rhythm of eating every day at 5:00, right? So now that I know this information that, hey, I have to eat at the same time every day, otherwise my metabolic rate is going to continue to deteriorate. Now that I have the knowledge, my mind has caught up to speed, right? Now it's going to take me getting my body used to it over time, because my body has to learn to trust my mind, trust my intention, trust that I'm going to give it the same thing every day at the same time, in order for it to actually work in tandem with the new ideas that I have gathered, right? So it's the same thing with manifestations on earth, okay? It's the same analogy, okay? So anything that's changing in the wind may take the earth a little bit longer to catch up to, and subsequently we go water and then fire, or fire then water. So when it comes to that, it's a good thing to keep in mind, especially if you're impatient like me and you're like, why in the world am I not seeing results? It's the same thing with like going to the gym. You have to go consistently in order for your body to make the changes that it needs to make, because it's like about creating trust with your body, and with your body with your mind. It's like, even if your life is unpredictable, it's like you still have to build some sort of relationship to the body in order for it to roll with the punches, okay? When you're younger, it's a little bit more pliable, okay? It's more open to the unpredictability of life, because you're still curious, you're still in a state of play, you're still in a state of, oh, I'm still learning what this does. What does this do? What does that do? Right? So it's like, it's more pliable when you're young. When you get older, Everybody's like, okay, we need to chill out a little bit. Okay, not saying that just because you get older, you lose all your play, because there are a lot of people who are way older than me who are more energetic, more playful, and all of that stuff. It definitely is a mindset, so keep that in mind. But it's like there does need to be some established structure. We cannot have freedom without structure. It sounds like it doesn't make sense. It sounds like it goes against each other, but it makes total sense, because it's like, even if it's only just establishing the predictability and establish that routine with your body and nothing else, you at least have more of a stronger grounding in reality, especially even if it does get a little bit unpredictable on the outside. You are more grounded, being able to handle whatever comes at you, okay, by being grounded in your body. Earth grounding, okay, by establishing that structure, that routine. Okay, there's a reason why, like the sign of Capricorn is an earth sign. It's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is limits. Saturn is responsibility. Saturn is routine. Saturn is structure. Okay, it's, people like to say Saturn is daddy and Jupiter is daddy. Sorry. That's just coming from a Sag. I'm just going to leave it at that. Jupiter is daddy. Jupiter is the father. Jupiter is Zeus. So keep that in mind. But Saturn is definitely that limitations, that structure, that, everything, that tradition, the tip top shape, like the cut and dry. Saturn is there for a reason. We need Saturn. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist, right? So there has to be some sort of established relationship or established structure. Even if it's only to your body, it will improve your life tremendously. Okay, that's why we have morning routines, night routines. That's why we have a schedule. Okay, a schedule is not just about time itself. Like, sometimes we stress ourselves out about time and how we move through the world, and being like trying to put everything on a deadline, put everything on this stressful reclaiming the clock or clock watching energy. It's not just about that. It's literally about establishing routine so that you can have freedom to feel other things, because we all need a home to come back to, right? And I feel like that relationship that we establish with the body is the home. Okay, it is the home. Now, this is coming from someone who has a lot of fourth house planets. Okay, not everyone can relate to this, but this is for the people who can relate to it. Me having a lot of fourth house planets, and as well as other aspects in my chart that overall depict an energy of having to create my own home, right? There's a sense of not feeling like I belong in a lot of spaces. There's a sense of not feeling like I'm at home in a lot of spaces that I go to. Even though I can pretty much pick up and go anywhere, it's like, will I feel comfortable? Will I feel safe? Will I feel secure? Okay, and it has a lot to do with me establishing that for myself. But if you have nothing, let's say, because I've hit rock bottom, like I feel like if you haven't hit rock bottom in your life yet, maybe this message isn't for you. But I have hit rock bottom, and it's like, if you have nothing else to go to, what you have to call home is right here. It's with you all the time. It's the body, right? It's here. That's that earth manifestation of you. This is home. And so in order to create that security, that safety, you have to be able to come back home to the body. You have to be able to establish the working, trusting relationship with the body. Because it can, like, we can lapse on bills, okay? You can lapse on a bill. You can get evicted. You can get kicked out of someone else's home. You can couch surf. Like, there's so many different renditions of home and safety, security, like having a roof over our head, that sometimes we take for granted and sometimes we just don't have. Okay, but there is always a home for the person who has a home inside their body. Okay, and then everything else can just feed off that energy, can be wielded in the world in order to establish an external home. You get what I'm saying? And so The challenge for someone with my placements is to establish that home. And if you are not at least establishing that relationship with the body, you will not be able to establish the relationship that you truly want and deserve to have with the external world until this is right. Okay? Um and trust me, there's ways to establish something temporary, but is it going to last, right? I don't necessarily want to uh I don't want to exclude the outlier. There's always going to be an outlier. There's always going to be someone who doesn't fit the bill. And of course, like I said, your placements can be different. So your experience can be very different. Your beliefs and systems about that experience is going to be different if you have different placements. But for someone like me, I feel that if I'm not at home in my body, if I'm not safe and secure in my body, then I am not going to feel safe and secure anywhere. Anywhere. Maybe temporarily, okay? If I'm distracted enough, sure. But never that long lasting, never that fulfilling, trusting, loving, kind relationship, compassionate relationship that I can have with self until this is right. Okay, this just so I feel like that is one way that I do want to kind of nod to the earth energy as well. It's definitely having a good relationship with the body. Having a good relationship with earth, the natural earth itself, is great as well. If you're someone who gardens, okay, if you're someone who likes to do trash pickup or Habitat for Humanity, which is more like building stuff. If you're someone who likes to go and do retreats and save the animals and all of these things, this is all a part of having a better relationship with the earth. But just establishing and feeding the relationship with earth is definitely something that is coming up strongly, that spirit wants me to talk about, and so that's what I'm gonna do.
Master